What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on the E30 again, but there's a elephant in the room. I haven't been posting a lot, and that is because I've just been busy. Summer is here and it is very hot in Memphis, and the shop gets to about over 100 degrees easily during the summer. The sun faces from that way in the afternoon, so after work it is blazing hot here, not ideal. And then coming at nighttime or early in the morning just doesn't really work with my schedule right now, so I've been putting off even coming to the shop. Other than that, I've just been enjoying my summer, as you do. But I think it is time to get to work on this. I'm here at night right now, so it is a little cooler. It's still hot, so I'm still sweating. It's probably 90 degrees in here, but the E30 does run. The issue with it is the fuel pump went out again. I replaced that, I think, in the last video that I posted, but it was still not running right. It was still misfiring. It was firing on 3 out of the 6 cylinders. So I ended up doing some research, and I don't know what it was. I ended up replacing the injectors, all the injectors, and now it runs fine. I think it still has a slight miss on one cylinder. I don't know what cylinder that is, or if it's random throughout multiple cylinders, but it still does run a tiny little bit rough. I changed out the thermostat, so the cooling issue has gone away. It doesn't overheat anymore. And then I think today we're going to do some suspension stuff. I know in the last video at the beginning, I believe, it's been almost 2 months, I showed some control arms and things like that. So I think we're going to jack this up, pull the wheel off, and then start digging into the suspension. I know Artie is almost done with his car, so I need to not go too deep with any type of project. Especially because my schedule here is pretty non-regular, but I think that I can get it done tonight. I have all night to do this, and let's get to work. Alright guys, so first step, I am going to start with the driver's side front for the control arms. So I'm going to break these loose real quick, and then I'm going to get my impact. Well, I'm going to break them loose first, jack up this side, impact them off, and then pull the wheel off. And we'll kind of assess the situation, kind of see what tools I'm going to need, pull the control arm out, make sure it is the same or similar, and then we'll start tearing stuff apart. So I'm gonna start with breaking these loose real quick. Should be a 17. I believe most BMW wheel studs are 17s. So, all right, so they're loose. I'm going to get the jack it up, and then pull the wheel off. So I got the jack in place. We are going to jack it up slowly, and I'm jacking on the subframe right now, just enough to get that front wheel off the ground and enough room to get a jack stand under there. So I'm gonna grab my jack stand. You probably can't see me right now, but I just put the jack stand under the frame rail. I'm gonna go do that to the other side so we can let it down gently right onto the frame rails, and jack is out of there. We'll give it a good push test. It's solid. All right, so I got my trusty dusty Milwaukee impact. Shout out Milwaukee, not sponsored. I'll take these wheel bolts out. And then the wheel should just come off. There we go. I could tell taking this wheel off that there's some worn out bushings, and I can actually see right now the control arm bushings are shot. They are disgusting. So I'm glad we're replacing them. I'm gonna go ahead and get you guys a better view of this, and then I'll get the new control arm out of the trunk, and I will hold it up to this just to make sure they're kind of similar at least, and we'll go from there. Should be pretty simple swap out, but with cars you never know, so we'll see. Alright guys, so I'm behind the camera and I'm trying to get you a better view. You can see this bushing right there, disgusting. This sway bar end link, disgusting. The bushing back there is also shot, and then I can't really see the bushing behind the knuckle, but I imagine it is pretty gross as well. Everything under here is old and probably original, so we're just going to replace it. Like I said in the last clip, I'm going to pull that new control arm out and see if it looks the same. And while I'm doing that, I'll get the end link as well and we'll disconnect that. But I will do that in the next clip. So I got my new parts. So this is the new control arm. It looks identical to the original, so we're good on that. I have a new sway bar end link, and then I have the new bushing that goes on the, I forget what they call it. I think they call it maybe a dog bone. I don't know what it's called. It's the bushing in the back for the control arm. I have that, so we're gonna get to use the press tonight. If that doesn't work, then we'll get creative with it, and I will show you guys that process because it's always a pain in the ass doing bushings. So I will get that done. I'll get this control arm out. Might do it on a time lapse, just because it might take a while. So I will get to work and update you guys soon. So the tools that we're gonna need to do this lower control arm job is a 19 socket, a 22 mil socket for the middle nut, and then a 17 for the lollipops for the lower control arm bushing itself. And then for the end links, we're going to need a 13 wrench and socket. So I've already got all the tools ready. We'll probably need some extensions and like a universal like bendy socket for the nut right there. We're gonna go in through the top. I can see it. It's easily accessible, so we'll do that. Should be pretty easy process, but we're gonna start with the sway bar end link first. We're gonna get that loose, get it off of the lower control arm, and then that way we can just drop everything and it should be fine. Alright guys, so we got the old control arm off. As you can see right there, here is the new one. We're going to transfer this little bracket for the sway bar end link onto this new one. And then we are going to put this ball joint up into the subframe first, get that started. I'll probably put a jack underneath the lower control arm to hold it up while I get the nut started. And then, yeah, actually, no, we're not gonna do that yet. We're gonna do the lollipop first because that is probably the most difficult thing next to do. So I'm gonna get this off of the old lower control arm. I'm taking a video of it, so I know the orientation. I'm gonna bring it over to our press over here, and I'll probably pull that out of the corner and get that set up so that you guys can see it. Hopefully it just comes out pretty easy, but we'll see. So I'll get that set up and get back to you guys then. Alright guys, so I got the press set up and I have a little bearing tool right there. I have a whole kit right here, but this is what I'm going to be using to get this bushing out. So I will set this up like this. Set this up right here. Aim it down a little bit, and then we should just be able to hammer away. Make sure this is locked. Run the ram down. I can kind of line it up better once it's close. It's right there. So I'll move this over a little bit so that it's right in the middle, and that should be good. So I'll put this guy in there. Hopefully it'll just press pretty easily out. Usually that is not the case. And it's going in sideways, so that's awesome. We will try a bigger one, slightly bigger. Alright, so this one is close to the size. That'll get us started. So let's try this one. We can get it started. And you kind of want to stand out of the way with these presses. Okay, I think that's started enough. Yeah. Alright guys, so I'm actually going to use the new bushing to get the old one out. I have a flat piece above it to push it in, and we should be good to go. I got it started a little bit already with that flat piece, but I'm just gonna hope for the best and push this out. So we'll get this close. It should push out pretty easy. The little bit that it did move already was pretty easy, so we'll see. But here it goes. Hold this steady. There we go. You should see the old one fall out once it's in there. Or out of there, I guess. Should be close to that point. But let's see what this looks like. Cool. So there's the old one. I went a little bit too far on this, as you can see. So I'm just going to put that on this side, push it out just a little bit. That way it is even on both sides. And we don't have to worry about anything. Ooh. That's why we don't go too close to it. But don't know why that seemed to happen, but we'll try it again. Something you probably didn't see was me dodging that with my face, so that's always fun. But should I think it's starting to go. Yeah, it is. Now that looks pretty even to me, so I will pull this out and show you guys real quick. It's a little out this way, but that is just fine. So I'll put this back on the new lower control arm, and then we're ready to put it back in the car. Alright guys, so now we're at the point where we can put the new lower control arm in. So I'm going to remove this nut, that nut, and then use the floor jack to hold the ball joint up into the subframe, and then tighten this nut down from the engine bay. But as you can see, I have the new lower control arm bushing installed into the lollipop, and then the sway bar end link bracket in the lower control arm. Still need a, actually it is tight, so we're good there. So I will get this going. I'll probably set this up on a time lapse too, just because it'll probably take a while. Alright guys, so I'm not sure why, but my time lapse stopped in the middle of it. I think the last that you saw I was tightening this bolt on the knuckle. During the time lapse, I believe you were able to see me grinding a spot on it. So what I was doing was I was taking this die grinder, I was making a spot for a flathead right here because the nut was spinning the shank, I guess, and it's not good. So ground a flat spot so I could put a flathead in it, and that was able to do the trick. I had my socket get stuck on the middle part, so that was fun. Got that taken care of, and everything is tight. So I'm not sure what the specs are for tightness, but they're as tight as I can get them by hand, like with putting a ton of force on them. So everything's done. New lower control arms in, new sway bar end link is in, and I'm not sure if you could see, but the sway bar mount was broken off and hanging down. So I'm gonna probably get creative with that. I might weld something in, but that'll be a little bit later. And then I have to do the other side too. I'll do the other side off camera. I think the next video will probably be doing the tie rods, because that's pretty easy and part of the parts list, the parts bin I got back here. So I still have all these to go, which is just part of the control arm for the other side, passenger side. Then the end links and the tie rods. So probably do that on another video, but this is control arms and sway bar end links on one side. I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a while, but if you like the video, subscribe. Some more will be coming eventually. So it's super hot in this shop, so I've been avoiding it, truthfully. So we're gonna once it cools down a little bit, we're gonna be back in here and doing some work on the E30, as you can see here, and then the Caprice, and probably my truck too. I have a whole new suspension kit for that, so it's just a stock replacement, so nothing crazy, no lift kit. It's my daily driver. I don't want to modify it or anything like that, but that is coming, so stay tuned. And like I said, if you like this type of content, working on old BMW shit boxes, you know, stay tuned. I will be doing it for, you know, the time being, especially when it starts cooling down. So thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.